Hey guys, and welcome back to Regrexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, P&O Ferries have started operating again after sacking all of their workers and employing unskilled labour to fill their posts. People who had never done the job before. Now, the P&O workers, have asked the British people. They said, please, do us a favour here. Don't use P&O Ferries. And the British people have said, you know something? We are going to continue using P&O Ferries as and well we like. As and when we like. you know, I think that the P&O workers, right, were set up from the beginning by the government because very strangely, they just said, you know what? We're going to sack them all and we're going to pay them all more than they would get at any tribunal. Which now, I mean, if you was to take P&O to a tribunal now, right, you would lose money, right? So I believe that the government they knew exactly what was going on, right? And they just said, you know what we'll do is we'll make it look good by impounding your ships. And that will give you enough time to train the workers up, the new workers that you're going to be putting on those ships. That's going to give you enough time to get them trained up while your ship. We impound the ships, pretending like the crew. It's because of the crew that's on there, and because we know that they haven't got sufficient experience to do the job what they've been brought in to do. So between the government and P&O Ferries believe that, right? And let me tell you something, right? If you don't believe that the government, right, is well behind this, right, along with P&O Ferries, then use one big Egypt. Use a fool. Use stupid. Right? Because the unions, I think the unions might have, I don't know, they might have some case for like some type of mass dismissal, but it's not going to be on the workers' behalf because the workers have been paid. And that's the way how this country works, right? You just pay off the minions. Don't worry about that. Get rid of them, right? We can sack them all, right? And now we can take on people that we can, their conditions can be a lot lower standards than we would have to if they was British workers, because they're not going to be registered in this country. They're just going to be registered probably under some type of maritime law, right? Which means that things like the minimum wage and those type of things is not applicable. And this is what you get when you live in a country and you want your country deregulated. This is what deregulation does. Okay? So always remember. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me. And a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can. But I will like all your messages for definite. So, today is the election day for the local council elections. But the Tories, I mean, in 2018, the Tories lost quite a few seats in 2018 in the local election. So, I mean, I think they're probably down to maybe skin and bone now, as it is, But I can always remember when was Grenfell Tower? When was that? Because I'm sure that they literally voted in back the same Conservative council, right, that had allowed a load of people, right, to be burnt alive in a flat in London, and I'm sure they voted back in the same council that allowed that to happen. So it's there are a lot of Tory councils that won't change today because they just some of these people, they just you could put like a blue rosette on a baboon, and these people would be like, what's the baboon's plans for the potholes? That's how the people would be. Do you know what I mean? So so that's what we've got going on today. So we're not allowed to talk about politics. Anne Robinson will be leaving Countdown. You believe that Al Ann leaving countdown, right? Mrs. Right, the one who's got the stare, and she's so damn rude, but we all love her, Al Ann. And she's been there about 80 years. She's probably been, I don't know, she's been about 30 odd, must be 30 odd years, I suppose. And then who's going to take over? I suppose, like, would it be Vorders? She with the lovely backside. It could be her. So we'll just have to wait and see. And Dave Chappelle has been attacked on stage, right? In Vegas, I think in Vegas, doing some type of Netflix thing, right? And if you saw how the guy, right, launched the attack, right? The guy launched from the audience and launched the attack, and he took him, in like an American football type tackle, right? And Dave Chappelle, I mean, there was like he did. I don't think Dave Chappelle actually. I think he went down at the end, right? But he was back up, and I think him and the guy had a little struggle, and then the guy run to the back of the stage, right? And then the next time I saw the guy, well, I saw quite a few people around him, and I saw some stomping going on, right? And then the next time I saw the guy after that, he was on a gurney getting put into an ambulance, right? And his arm was twisted in a way, right, that I could only describe as being broken, because his arm was completely round the other way. Right, so I don't know if someone had just twisted the arm off, right? But whatever the case, yeah, that arm was out of its socket, right? So that's a fact. Whatever the case is, right? It was definitely out of its socket, right? Right? So he really got battered, right? And then Jamie Foxx. Well, if you're ever in trouble, Jamie Foxx is always going to turn up in a sheriff's hat. Jamie Foxx was on stage in a sheriff's right. But I think, right, because Chris Rock was there as well, and Chris Rock come on and grabbed the mic and said, was it Will Smith? Which was quite funny, right? After Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle has got this thing with the trans community, so Dave Chappelle said, like, come on, said, it was a trans man. Right, seriously, right? It was quite. I think this guy actually took the pasting, right, that Will Smith was supposed to get, right? And I don't know why someone would think that they can actually run up on stage, attack one of the world's best comedians, right? And they're, I don't know. They thought, well, Will Smith done it, and he never got beaten up for doing it, so I can do it. No, it doesn't actually work that way. That's the way it doesn't work. It works the other way. You get battered for it. Like, you run up there and attack one of the world's greatest comedians and see what's going to happen to your ass. Right, you from the audience and see, because now people there even on more tension. This hasn't happened because of what Will Smith done. These things have been happening forever since. Comedians have been attacked on stage forever. It's not just it's nothing new. But there's a lot more focus on it now because of the situation. What happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock, and staying in America, there has been fighting in the street when there should be dancing in the street, but no, they've been fighting in the street over the new abortion rules. And you know what really gets me about this whole thing, right, is you're telling me that these people from the right wing, right, they care about the unborn child, but they couldn't give a fuck about people that are actually here living. I mean, so what are you saying? Are they saying that, like, Mexican children, well, they care about their lives, the unborn Mexican's life, but the Mexicans at the border, they're like, oh no, they call them all sorts of different names: rapists, drug dealers, murderers, thieves. But they really do care about the unborn ones. They want to stop. They want to stop, Mexican women, right, from having abortions, or they want to stop black women from having abortions, right? The truth is, what they would, it's, let's just say they want to stop poor people and working class people from having abortions. Really? after the way they treat people who are here, living in this world now, but yet for all they're so caring about the unborn. It doesn't even make, their thing doesn't even make any sense. And most of this is from the right wing. But this, I can't see this being a left and a right issue, because surely, right, women's bodies, right, is not a left and a right issue. It's like my skin colour. There's nothing political in it. They might like to think, they might like to try and throw the political in it, but there's nothing political in it. Just like women's bodies, there's nothing political about that. There's nothing political about this argument of abortion, because I'm quite sure that that women, right, who are staunch right wing, KKK printed in their forehead, I'm quite sure some of them, right, would want to have an abortion. Right, so this is why there's massive fighting in the streets. But I can't get past the fact that, why is it these people pretend that they care when we know that they don't? They don't care, but they don't care about well, they care about unborn Native American children. Really? Really? No, they don't. It's all pretense. It's all about the culture wars, about keeping the culture wars going. That's what it's all about. Right? Look how much of those politicians are in Congress, right? And they can't even get onto the committees because they're fighting culture wars around, around the Senate. They're fighting not Senate, the second house, right? The lower chamber or whatever it is, right? They're fighting culture wars, so they won't put them on committees, and they bring it down to this same abortion thing, right? Where they're trying to make it a left and a right issue. It's not a left and a right issue. It's not a left and a right issue at all, right? Childbirth is not a left and a right issue, right? So, but they're trying to make it as such, these people that But then you have to say, well, what do you expect from a group of people who believe in like guns and God? I mean, it's just like, I don't know what kind of behaviour this is, but it's behaviour, right, it's not right. These people are not right in the head. And there's whole massive communities of them. Sociopaths. They seem to have, I'm just going to say psychopathic thoughts, but it's just really weird how these people think. It's really, really weird how these people think and how they view life. Because they view the unborn life as, got to protect that. But as soon as it gets here, they wouldn't give a fuck about it. They don't care if it lives in poverty for the rest of its life. Yeah. They wouldn't care. So it's just really hard to work out what is going through these people's minds, because whatever's going through their minds, it ain't right. We know that much. George, useless. All right. Reg Varney himself has decided that to get you out of the current cost of living crisis, you should just buy cheaper food and buy cheaper British food in response to Elsie 77. So you should just, she should just buy cheaper food, and then there's plenty of jobs out there. There's lot of jobs out there that people can do. Firstly, right, most people are working. That's the fact. Most people, right, who are going to food banks, people who can't heat their house, people who can't afford to eat, people who are only having one meal a day, most of them are working. But he was posed this question around Elsie. So what the hell, right, has all these jobs got to do with Elsie? She's 77 motherfucking years old. What the hell is he talking about when he's talking about, there are plenty of jobs? What's that got to do with her? You see, they can't understand your life. Your life to them is foreign. Okay? That's what your life is to them. Because you fight against me. When your fight's not against me, your fight's against them. Yeah. And your fight, right, is not even against them being on their side. You're supposed to be against, on the opposition side against them. Not fighting them from within. Can't change them from within. Okay? They will just play the culture wars off on you all the time. Every single time. You try and mention something with them, right? They'll just point to a dinghy. They'll just say, you know, why you can't get a school place for your children. Like that's never been a problem. But they'll still run it on you. You can't get a school place for children because all the bloody immigrants. So they'll just play you off on these culture wars. All the time. And classism's your real problem. But all the time you fall for the culture wars. And they continue and continue to do it. All the time. That's why George Eustace, Reg Varney can look and say, you know, what you need to do is just buy cheaper food. Now, I'm sure most people are thinking to themselves, I didn't realise that was an option. I never knew, right, that the actual time, right, that Tesco's puts the yellow labels on the food. I never knew. How stupid of the people. Hey? They, he said, British should buy home brand stuff. Who knew? Who knew, right, that, the shop bought beans, right, that's made for one of the main supermarkets, right, that's probably gone up from 19 pence to 45 pence. Who knew that they made those brands? We always thought it was like Cross and Blackwell and Heinz. Now, these people, right, have got you living in a country where you've got so many people going to food banks. And let me tell you, right, you see, most people, right, haven't got their new gas bill yet because it's been what? We're literally just coming up to where you're all going to get your new gas bills. Right? I know about them, right, because the house where I live in, right, has got a key meter. So I know, right, what these new gas bills, and these new gas bills, right, are painful. They're really going to hurt. And most people, it's just landed on their mat now, or it's just about to land on their mat. Their first instalment of it, because it only come in on the first. It started on the 1st of April. So so we're just we're the 5th of May now. So they just got their bills. So people would understand what kind of problems that they're really in now. And I don't think that's going to help the Tories today with the local elections. That's going to really hurt. So that's the Tories' answer to the current cost of living crisis. Get a better job, or get a job, and buy cheaper food. I mean, when you put it like that, it's kind of simple. I just think to myself, well, I could have been a minister. I could have come up with that. Very simple. I mean, yeah. I don't know what you're worried about. 48% of young Brits believe the police are institutionally racist. 48% of young Brits think the police are institutionally racist. So that will be all of the minorities, and then a lot of white people as well, because the thing is, right, 48% of white people believe that the police are institutionally racist. That's not 48% of young white people, that's 48% of white people who believe the police are institutionally racist. And that's very encouraging, because that means that the police are on notice, right? If you've got like white people now who just say no, we understand. Oh my God, 48%. That means we've got the glorious 52% on the other side. Wow, that's that's, that's that means that Britain is 52% racist. Wow, I thought it was just 52. I thought it was just 52% of the people who voted for Brexit. Wow, that's that's changed things significantly. But no, I didn't realise that we was there. Yeah, I didn't realise that we was there. So yeah, so you know, it's really good to know, right, that so much white people have got our back because they understand. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you know something? Yeah, there's too many stories, and this shit's been going on for too long, right? And it's you people. Right, you people have been getting up to this. You people have been getting up to this nonsense, right? And to those, obviously see there's 52% here. You just look and think, well, because I always ask these people a question. I always say, well, let me tell you, I'll ask you this, yeah. Can you name me, right, the black groups that are out there, right, for the total destruction of the Caucasian race? And I always say, I will wait. I'm still waiting because there are none. Right, but I mean, over here, like over here, you got like what you got: Britain First, the BNP, the National Front. Do you know what I mean? UKIP, the Tories. Right? I mean, you go internationally. I mean, in Europe, you've got like Pegida, and you go to America, and I mean, America, there's some psychopathics over there. Do you know what I mean, you got the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, you've even got like the Proud Boys, for example, right? Now, the Proud Boys have sprung up here to fight against Antifa, right? Antifa are anti-fascist, right? They have been formed, right, to fight against the government, not to have a civil war against other citizens. Right? Those same citizens, right, who are fighting against Antifa, right, are fighting against their own rights because Antifa are out there for them as well. They think that Antifa are out there, but Antifa are out there, right, for the poor and the working classes because it's all a class thing, right? And if you think, right, that you know, white poor and working class people are treated any different, right, than how black people are treated, then you've got a fucking screw loose, right? The police in America murder, plenty of white, poor white people, poor Hispanics, right? Poor Native Americans, and black people, right? They murder plenty, right? It's just the middle classes and the rich who they don't. But I don't. So I don't understand how you got groups like the Proud Boys who spring up to fight against an anti-fascist group, and they've got so much support. Crazy, just absolutely crazy. Right? That's why 48% of white people in this country believe, right, in the police being institutionally racist. It's a good thing. Right, the EU is to ban Russian oil by the end of the year, and you see that's the power of the EU. And the Russians must be really pissed because that's some serious money. Do you know what I mean? Because the Russians rely on they're selling their fuel. That's what they rely on. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the gas, but the EU they're banning it from the EU, so it's not going to be allowed in there at all. Standard. Right, I'm running so far behind time because I've just been chatting away. Right? Right. Brexit is to blame for the crazy chicken prices, says the poultry industry, and they have been ripping into Boris Johnson on Twitter. The British poultry industry have been tearing Boris Johnson to pieces, right, on Twitter, right? But I tell you, proper ripping into him. They are not happy because they're saying, you know what, this is all your fault, right? With your oven ready deal, the oven ready deal wasn't a chicken deal, and if it was still frozen. And let me tell you, the last thing you want to eat, right, is chicken when it's frozen, because that is going to kill you. Okay, So this is not like a Donald Trump thing where, you know, drink bleach. No, never eat chicken that is frozen. Ever. Don't eat no uncooked chicken. You'll be on the toilet all night. The whole night. Brexit is to blame for a fall in EU students going to Oxford. Well, what did we expect? I mean, what did you expect? I mean, we don't want, you know, we don't want all those brain boxes coming over here to live over here. We don't want those brain boxes coming here. But what we want brain boxes coming in from Africa and from India and from Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and those type of brain boxes we need coming out. Brown brain boxes. Try saying that fast. Right. A woman has been barred from a flight because her passport was issued 10 years ago, and the bitch ass passport is out of date because the EU's the new rules that have been imposed on us. They're not new rules, they're just rules that the EU already had for third countries. So because of those new rules, you're not allowed. You know, once upon a time, right, do you realise, right, that you didn't even need your passport to fly to the EU? Right? And, you know, this is something that dawned on me. It was obviously, you know, in 2016 when I really looked into it. But, you know, I had been into the EU a couple of times, right, and because I'd always had my passport, right, but they never actually asked for it. I've never asked my passport to leave this country. Never asked my passport when I got into the EU. I was never asked my passport when I got back to this country. So it's my passport. I could have left it at home, but I didn't because I didn't actually realise what the whole situation was until 2016. And then when I started looking into it, and then once I started looking into it, I thought, whoa, you know something? Yeah, we could be on a beach, right, in Spain in 4 or 5 hours, right, with no passport. And now I would have to divert to Cornwall, which would probably take me longer to get to Cornwall, right, and get on the beach. And by the time I got there, yeah, I'd be pissed because I've been driving for so long. At least when I go to Spain, I'm going on a plane. Right? Next day I could just hit the beach. And we've given all that up. Embarrassed to be British. So many people are now, especially living in the EU, are completely embarrassed to be British, and they're pissed because they lost their freedom of movement. Right? They're not allowed to vote, right? And a lot of them can't drive, right? So they're proper pissed, and they're completely embarrassed up in there to be British. And can you blame them, right? Where they're looking over at this racist motherfucking island and saying, you know something, I'm from there. God damn, right? It's a complete shit show, right? It's the world's biggest comedy, right? I was going to mention the one of the circus acts, but I can't remember the name. Billy Smart, right? It's bigger than the Billy Smart show. This shit is international, worldwide, right? It's gone from universe to universe. People in other universes are looking and thinking to themselves, those people are stupid. Stupid. Anyway, guys, I've gone on for far too long, once again, and I shouldn't have. So I have to bow out of here. This is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.